Hi crafters, welcome back and thanks for joining me today. This is Jana with Purple Girl Crafts. Today we're going to make this unique pop-up cube card. Now this card has no back, as you can see on the back. It's just got the one piece of paper, doesn't have that extra cube on the back. This card requires no die cuts and it does lay flat for shipping. It measures 5 by 7. You could put a belly band on the front if you wanted to close it, but it'll lay flat in the envelope, so you shouldn't really need one. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we'll need is our scoreboard, and our first piece is going to be cut at 5 inches by 7 inches. You're going to turn that back on the 5-inch side and score it at 2.5. Then we will need 2 pieces, and these are cut at 2.25 by 5 inches. And again, you'll need 2. Then we will need 1 piece, and this will be cut at 11 inches by 5 inches. We're going to turn that back on the 11-inch side, and we are going to score this at 1/2, 3 1/8, 5 3/4, and 8 3/8. Then you're going to turn it on the long side. Let me flip it over just to make it a little bit easier to see. And you're going to also score this in half at 2.5, and you're just going to go down to that second score line. Then you want to take and just cut that first little line, just to that first score line. Just cut that little, so it just breaks that piece apart like that. Next, we will need 4 pieces, and these will be cut at 2.25 by 2 3/8. Okay, so we're done with our scoreboard, so we'll move that out of the way. I'm going to grab our trimmer, and we're going to cut this base piece. This is the one that's 11 inches, just those first 3 sections, just like I've done here. So you're going to lay it so it's at 2.5 inches from the end, and then just cut up to those first 3 score lines. And then we've got to do we'll fix this fold in a second. But this is what you should have so far. So we'll move our trimmer out of the way. We might need that in a minute. So for the base piece, we're going to work on those 2 front panels. So as this is going to be closed, we're going to work on this section right here. So the easiest way is just to tuck these under. So just tuck that first one under. So you've got the wrong sides facing out. And then we're just going to crease those out. And this is what we're going to make a cut. So first we're going to measure. We're going to go in 1 inch from the edge, and that's at the fold. I'm just going to mark it, just a light mark. You're not going to see it because it'll be on the wrong side. We'll do that on both sides. And then I'm going to turn it, and then we're going to make a mark in the middle of each panel. So that'll be at 1 1/4 on each side. And then you can go ahead and you can draw a line if you want, just to make sure that you're going to cut that straight on that line. We'll do that on both sides. Now you can use your trimmer for this, or you can just use scissors. I'm just going to grab my scissors, and I'm just going to make a cut from that fold line up to that mark that we made, which is 1 inch in. So this is what you should have. And then I'll do it on the other one. Again, just fold that in. This way you don't have to measure it, and you can just cut it one time. And then cut that. And then we're just going to lay this flat, keep those tucked in, and we're just going to take this and just fold it down. It'll fold by itself. Just don't force it. And then just fold it till it looks just about straight. You don't need to score these or anything. You can just, beforehand, you can just fold them down and then just score or push them out. And then we'll do the other side. Again, just fold it over, just as far as it'll go, and then just go ahead and just crease it out, and then do the last one. And I'm just really pushing down just really hard just to make sure those are really creased. Then I'm going to take them and I'm going to turn them the other way and I'm going to do the same thing. Just so that I've got the crease on both sides. And then fold the other side. But this time I'm going to flip it around to make it easier. And then crease those out. Then just open them back up, lay them flat, and then open up the card. And this is what you should have, which is hard to see. But then when you fold those, you push them in the opposite direction. You'll see they'll fold in on themselves. And then when you fold the card, that's the shape you should have. And again, crease it out one more time. And then we'll do it to the other side. And then crease it out. Okay, so next what we're going to do is we're going to work on the card. So this is how this will close then. So this will close and then it'll be able to open. So we're going to fold this in half. We already have a score mark there, so I'm just going to fold this, make sure it's lined up, and then I'm just going to crease that out. And that's the section that keeps the card together. Okay, so next we are going to work on the pieces that go inside the card. So I'm going to take the base piece, I'm going to turn it upside down, and we're going to put the 4 pieces that we cut of the colored paper on the inside panels here. Just like that. So I'm going to speed up the camera and glue these down. And then once you have those all down, just go ahead and just push out that glue. Really helps just make sure that the glue is sticking to the pieces. And that's perfect that way. So next, what I'm going to do is I grab just a piece of scrap paper and I'm just going to take my trimmer and I'm going to cut off about a 1/2 inch and we're going to do 2 pieces. Okay, so those 2 pieces are cut. So we're going to take those 2 pieces and we're going to fold them in half. When you fold these, you want the flowers to be on the inside so that it doesn't show that orange color. And we're going to, when we glue these down, we're going to glue them so that the fold is at the fold of the card. But first we're just going to fold both these in half. Now these are a little long, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut some of this off. And these there's really no size that these need to be. So I'm just going to measure both of these, make sure they're even, and just cut off those extra pieces. So these are going to get glued to the card. So when this card is open, we want these to be glued on this panel here. So this first panel, again, you want the fold to be in facing the center, and you want it to be about halfway. So that's about 1.25 inches is halfway. So that will be in the middle. And what I'm doing is I'm just lining this up. I'm going to flip it upside down and then back again so I know where I'm going to put my glue. I'm going to put glue on this one side. And then I'm just going to take this flap and just put it right back on top of that glue. Again, the fold is facing inward. And then we're going to take the other one and put it just on the opposite side with the fold facing in. And this just gives these little flaps so that the embellishment that's on the inside of the card, it will move as it opens and it won't be stuck down. Just make sure you don't have any extra glue on there. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to glue this together. So we're just going to take glue and put glue on that one flap. And then we're just going to take this, lay this down, close that flap, and then just close this on itself. So it'll be folded in half. And then just push that down. Then we're going to do the same thing. You could have done it at the same time, but we'll do it on the other side. So just put glue on that flap. I'm going to turn mine all the way around just so I can make sure I got it down straight. And then just push that down. And so this is the piece that you should have now. So it's your two little cubes connected in the center. So they're not going to be connected to the other piece yet, but they are connected. Then we're going to take this other piece that's 5 by 7. We already scored it, so we're just going to push out that score mark. And this is going to get glued to the back of the card. So this will be the back base of the card. But before we do that, we are going to put the other flowered paper on here. Now these, we didn't cut them all the way down because the cubes are going to cover it, so there's no need to put it on there, or extra paper. It just adds weight to it. So just make sure these are lined up at the top. And you've got that even border all the way around, and then just glue both of these pieces down. And then use your bone folder just to push that glue. That looks pretty good. Okay, so next we're going to glue the cubes on, and they're just going to sit at the very bottom. So the easiest way to do this is just to put glue on the cubes. So let's just flip this over, and we'll put glue right here. I'm just going to put glue on both sides. Then I'm just going to sit this down, and then take the back piece and just push it up against it. That way I know it's flat, it's straight, and it'll be perfect when it stands. And that's how your card looks so far. Oops. So that is the shape of the card. So this is basically almost half of a cube because the back side is not the cube. So next we're going to put our oops on here. So again, we're going to put this on the flaps that we had done. And the easiest way is just to put glue on both sides. Make sure you don't put too much so that it doesn't stick to the back of the card. And then we're just going to put this in, making sure that it's centered. And again, what this will do, it'll make it pop out so that because the card will bend inward and towards the back, that it'll stand out. Just a great way to add some dimension to your card. Okay, so that looks pretty good right there. So next, I've got my little dog. I don't know if you can see it, but he's eating a shoe. So we're going to use him as our embellishment, and he's going to go in the front. So I'm just going to line this up, and I thought it would be cute if his head was sticking out at the top of the card, so when they open the card, before it pops open, they'll see his head. So I'm going to line him up just about there. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to grab some of that blue paper, and I'm going to cut just 2 small strips. I'm not even going to measure these. I'm just going to cut 2 small ones out. And we're going to do the same thing like we did on the embellishment for the oops. We're going to make 2 little flaps so that he can pop out when the card is displayed, so that the card, when it goes back, he'll still be flat. So I'm folding these in half. And again, if they're too long, just cut them off. They don't need to be very long. So I know where I'm going to put him so he's just right about there. And then I'm just going to put my flaps right here. Now, as I'm doing this, I'm realizing that I folded these the wrong direction, so the orange will show. So make sure that if you're doing your pattern paper, you fold them so that the pattern is on the inside, because mine, the orange will show on here. Again, you're going to put the fold towards the middle, and then the ends will face outward. So once you have one glued down, we'll glue the other one down. Again, I'm just making sure he's going to look good where he is. I'm going to put glue on those 2 flaps. Again, don't put too much because otherwise it may stick to the bottom. I'm going to put him right there, lay this closed, and then push it down. And as I did that, you can see I got glue, extra glue on here. I'm just going to take my bone folder and just kind of push that glue out. Okay. So far, this is what we've done. Let me just get some of this out of the way. Some extra flowers. So I had some flowers I had just cut out. And I'm going to use the orange. I don't know if you can tell, it does have a little bit of orange in the center of the flowers that are on here. So I'm just going to use these. I'm going to glue these to the front on the top. I'm going to put one of the bigger ones on this side. And then I'm just going to lift up the edge of it and put some leaves on here. You could put some on the inside, or you could add more embellishments. You could do some accent. And then I'm going to put 2 on this side. And then I'll glue just some more leaves just on the front. So I'll put these right about here. And I'll just give it just a little bit more color. That's a wrap on another card. I want to thank you for joining me. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And until next time, happy crafting from Purple Girl Crafts. See you real soon. Bye-bye.